So let's go over the information in the news that was hit just a few minutes ago about Bobby Wagner. We know that he is now a free agent. We know that he have ties to Dan Quinn. Unfortunately, the teams that's really interested in Bobby Wagner are the Cardinals, the Rams, as well as the 49ers. Those are the teams that's showing interest at Bobby Wagner. We get it, right? Should the Cowboys pay a little bit more money to get a solid linebacker to help out this linebacker core altogether? Yes. But the Cowboys' way is just this. They like their guys. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you got to be a little bit more assertive and you got to take the risk. You do. But I think that the Jones family, Stephen Jones, is really looking at this side of it like, hey, we did pretty good last season. We was 12-5 with the way I handled and managed the salary cap, and I think that I'm doing a good job with this. And basically, we don't want to overpay. He look at the free agent list as it just like this. You overpay good players, basically, and that's just how his way of interpreting the free agent, especially how this team been doing it for the last 20 years or so. The last big free agent move we had was Brandon Carr, and it didn't look right for the Cowboys out of that situation, because after Brandon Carr, I believe in that same year, they traded up in the first round to get Mo Claiborne to help out in the secondary, and truth be told, all of that was a mess, right? So fast forwarding to now, the 2022 season, we hear storylines of, hey, we would like to bring Luke Gifford back, but he got to be a cap-friendly situation. If not, we will allow him to test the market. We ain't finna pay big money for Luke Gifford, nor even average money for Luke Gifford. And the storyline is leaked out as well about Francis Bernard. They saying, okay, man, you can come back, but it got to be a cap-friendly. So if he's putting cap-friendly measures on Luke Gifford, Francis Bernard, you already know. You already know what he's trying to do with Bobby Wagner, if that was ever a conversation. And especially the Cowboys are looking at Ron Curse and saying, okay, if you want to come back to this team, I guarantee you it got to be a cap-friendly situation. Now, with all of that being said, are there any real talk tracks of trades with Amari Cooper? I don't know.
He's on the book. By the 5th day of the new league year, they're on the hook for $20 million guaranteed. So it's my understanding they're letting him hang around a little bit. And that's because when I made some calls this morning, they had been getting some calls. Now, I asked them to characterize how serious that was. They wouldn't get into it, but they are trying to get something out of this. Keep in mind, they gave up a first-round pick for Amari Cooper when they brought it to Dallas.
Jane Slater says she called to ask around, and they gave her that beat of information. From her mouth to all ears, Jane Slater did say that the Cowboys been getting phone calls from other teams. Now, here's how this thing could really go. Just being real and 100 with you guys. That could be bullshit, right? The integrity of this particular team is still kind of questionable, especially with all of the hush money and the side stuff that's going on with the Jones family. But I'm gonna take the moral high ground, and I'm not finna say what's going on. All you have to do is just type in Google, right? And you will see this is what's going on with the Jones family. Or watch a few videos ago of what I was talking about. There's a lot of areas of what Jerry Jones said, ambiguity that's going on with the Jones family, right? So we don't know whether or not this is just hogwash information, whereas I'm gonna tell James later that yes, we are getting a lot of trade calls, but we ain't gonna tell you the level of extent of how serious teams are, but we are getting a lot of trade calls. And that, my friend, will drive up the demand if somebody really want Amari Cooper. But if not, they can already see that the Cowboys already announced their plan of Amari Cooper by cutting him, right? And by cutting him, my friends, they could sit back and wait. Now, as far as, hear me out, Blake Jarwin, who's supposed to not be ready for the start of the year, they can do this. There's $4 million owed to him. They can actually cut him, pay him the injury settlement since he got to have the hip situation, and that will put at least $2 million back into the pockets of the Jones family. Now, as far as Schultz, there's 3 types of tags out there. There's a transitional tag, there's the exclusive tag, and there's the non-exclusive tag. The Cowboys put Dalton Schultz on the non-exclusive tag, meaning that, hear me out, Cowboy Nation, meaning that teams have a right to put out their version of a contract for him, and the Dallas Cowboys have a first right of refusal, giving them a tender, meaning that, okay, yeah, you can give Dalton Schultz, but it's gonna cost you 2 first-round draft picks. And I can tell you, nobody in their crazed mind will say, okay, Dalton Schultz in a check-down style of offense of what Dalton Schultz will bring to the table is worth a first-round draft pick, especially looking at this draft, looking at the levels of the amount of tight ends and / wide receivers that you got out of this particular class. I think that Dalton Schultz demand for a first-round draft pick, if somebody matches whatever the Cowboys are willing to do with this franchise tag, is worth the grain of salt. That's all I'm saying. And those are the realities and the facts of everything, Cowboy Nation. Now, here's the thing, and we're going to break it down real quickly on the Amari Cooper. Basically, the Cowboys need to pay him $20 million, right? If they cut him, they save $16 million. So basically, the $4 million, because that's the movable money in this thing, the $4 million that they are willing to save, because even if you cut Amari Cooper, that $16 million got to go somewhere, right? So the $4 million that you necessarily think that it is worth moving on from Amari Cooper so that you can pick up, I guess, a Luke Gifford to a new contract so that you can maybe will and deal some of the things that you're trying to put in as your language of a contract for J-Ron Curse / if you even really put in a real offer for Randy Gregory. Cowboy Nation, what are you going to do with that little old bitty money? Because I come here to tell y'all, even if we had the money, do you really think that the Jones family, because I got to just say the Jones family because you want to lump in Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, who's handling a lot of stuff, whether it be mentally, whether or not he got medical issues or whatever that's going on in his world. Maybe they ran out of salts for the McGriddle. Maybe that's the situation. You really think that they're gonna spend big in the free agency and go against their core philosophy? One thing I can tell you about people that make a lot of money, even if it's a person that makes $70,000 to $90,000 a year, it's hard to tell them, right, what to do. Can you imagine someone that's making billions of dollars and you trying to tell them what to do? No, they believe that their philosophy works. And that is the reality, Cowboy Nation. That is. So, as they call him now, Cap Boy, or my guy, Big Game James, we call him Baby Nuts. We just have to go with the ride. The craziest thing of it all, that this team will still win the NFC East, in my opinion. This team is still, regardless of who we need to put here and there, is talented enough to do some damage in the regular season. But we're going to see how this thing condenses. And it's crazy. The Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers, all 3 of those teams right there are interested in Bobby Wagner. But the Cowboys, they're not. According to Ian Rapoport, he just announced those teams. It could be more as the time goes on, but we've seen this song and dance before. We heard of the same news before. Earl Thomas available. We had Chris Richard, right? Earl shaking the hand of Jason Garrett, saying he would like to be over here. And bam, he went off to the Ravens land. We heard storylines like this before. This is not our first rodeo. Antonio Cromartie, I would like to play for the Cowboys. We look up and he's going to another team. Even the guy Adrian Peterson. Oh yeah, I would like to play for the Cowboys. You look up, he's going to another team. This song and dance continue to go on and on and on. Adrian Peterson to even Patrick Peterson, right? Both want to play for the Cowboys. They never even got a chance to put on the silver and blue. And we'll find out too. That will be the next storyline in a couple of months or in a couple of weeks. Patrick Peterson, yeah, coming to the Cowboys. Oh, Antonio Brown. Oh yeah, Antonio Brown, I would like to play for the Cowboys. That ain't picking up any traction by the grace of all of the other crazy stuff that's going on with the Cowboys. But you know how we get down. Somebody else gonna start talking about it sooner or later. Cowboy Nation, post me your thoughts, post me your concern. The name is Law Nation. If you like what you heard, hit that like, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and beyond. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys.